Most people think building a creator business is all about views, brand deals, and going viral. Rob Balasabas shows there's a much deeper game behind it. In this episode, he breaks down how creators actually build sustainable businesses, why owning your audience matters more than chasing algorithms, and how memberships and recurring revenue are changing the creator economy. Awesome. So Rob, thank you so much for being here and joining us. For people actually discovering your work for the first time, how would you describe what you do today and who are you?
Yeah, well, Vitor, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure and honor to be on the podcast with you guys. Yeah, my name is Rob Balasabas. So my day to day is, as head of partnerships at Uscreen, is really working with our creators that use our platform, as well as different brand partners and industry partners as well. And so really just connecting the dots between the folks that are using our platform and the folks that are helping our creators, our customers, build their business as well, on our technology.
And you're currently the head of creator partnerships and community at Uscreen. What does that role actually look like day to day?
Yeah, it's very different. I mean, every day is a little bit different than the next than the previous, and some days I'm on the road at different events and conferences. I was just recently at South by Southwest, and then later this year we're going to be going to all the creator YouTube video marketing type of events like Vid Summit and VidCon, and also Cannes Lions. Like there's a lot of different events that we head out to. Some days I'm working directly with some of our partners on sponsorships or overseeing our affiliate program, or working with other team members that are helping onboard and launch new customers. So, it's all very different. I would say again, the through line is really working with the people that are using our platform and the people that are helping our platform grow their businesses.
How did you get where you are today? Because I'm assuming it's a long process to get to being the head of creator partnership. What
Yeah.
was it like for you in the beginning? How did you start?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I got into the industry, I would say almost 10 years ago. I was working at a digital agency, and, building WordPress sites, doing SEO and backlinks and running paid ads for different small, businesses, mostly, through a digital agency that I was working at here in Vancouver, where I'm based. And then I got a call from a friend of mine who um, started at a company that was doing online courses. And this was around 2015, 2016, Vitor. And I was like, what are online courses? I didn't know people took courses online. I mean, I knew that there was
Yeah.
some like college courses that maybe you could consume online and things like that. But what are online courses? And so I joined the company very shortly after that. And the platform was called Thinkific. And so they did online courses for, like influencers and authors and coaches. And this was a whole new world to me that this even existed, that people were making money in this way. And so I was there for about 4 or 5 years. I was on the marketing team, and then I was the social media manager and community manager, and eventually I was on the partnerships team. And so, about 4 or 5 years into that role, the company grew from about 20 people to I think over 200 people by the time that I had left 5 years later. And we had grown. We had moved to like a new office downtown, and it was a really exciting time. It was a crazy journey with that company. And then I was then approached by a company that was based in the U.S., worked remotely, that had a YouTube software. So it was a tool that was used by YouTubers to analyze their videos and A/B test thumbnails and titles, and do bulk actions on their videos on YouTube. And it was called TubeBuddy. And so we were a team of about 10 or 12, and we were serving millions of channels, on YouTube. And I was the partnership manager there. I was brought on to help grow their affiliate program and things like that. And that was during COVID. So, as you know, during COVID, a lot of YouTube channels really exploded. Like they just grew like crazy,
Yeah.
right? Because people were consuming more YouTube, they were doing more things online. And so the company just continued to grow during COVID, during the 2 years that I was there. And actually, the company itself was then acquired by a bigger company during that time, about 1 year into it. And so we joined this company called Branded Entertainment Network. And it was actually the primary shareholder was Bill Gates. So, pretty cool fun fact that I could say that I worked for Bill Gates at one point in my life. And so he was running, we were operating still as sort of a independent company within the larger parent company. But yeah, 2 years into that, I then was approached. I made a really good friend in a guy named PJ Tai. And he was the founder of Uscreen, where I currently work now. And we had a conversation about joining the team, and he wanted to, again, grow the partnership program, their affiliate program, and it was, after looking at the company and the opportunity with memberships for creators, it was a no-brainer for me. That's kind of where things were going, and we continue to see that grow now. So I've been here almost 5 years, Vitor, and just enjoying it, seeing creators own their revenue and, just really build their community and sustainable recurring revenue that they control. It's been a beautiful thing to be a part of.
What was the process for you actually learning about the algorithm? Because as you said, when you started like in the creator economy, you didn't know much about it. What
Yeah.
was it like back then? Like, did a lot of things change from when you started?
Yeah, a lot of things change. I think every day something changes on YouTube. And so, yeah, the closer you are to YouTube, the more that you realize that, man, nothing is ever the same. Every day there's something new. There's a lot of mystery around the algorithm. You talk to two different people that have YouTube channels, you'll get two different answers on how they approach YouTube. Does titles matter? Does titles not matter? Thumbnails, do you do short videos or long form? All of those things. How do you do keywords? Does that matter? There's so many things happening. And
Yeah.
then you incorporate things like live streaming. And then also the way that you build your business as a YouTuber, as a content creator. I mean, everybody has a different approach and strategy. For me, it was just like beautiful to see, I think, TubeBuddy during that 2 years that I was there. Every day we were looking at YouTube channels and talking to creators. That's sort of my crash course in learning about YouTube. And I just came to respect that there was really no one way to build a YouTube channel. Some people care about the algorithm a lot, some people don't. But you could clearly see that there's just more than one way. And so even now, like we're just talking to different creators all the time. Some creators have, big channels that they just that's all they do. Some creators have teams. Some creators work with, companies like Vidpros with the editing, and it's a really cool thing to see that it's just like there's so many ways to success when it comes to it. But to answer your question, the algorithm, I think the main way that I really learned and the way that I just like to operate myself is just to do it myself. And so actually when I joined TubeBuddy, I knew that I was going to be working with a lot of YouTubers. And so I actually just created my own channel. So I created a YouTube channel for myself, and I started just, putting myself in their shoes and understanding how to, do live streams and edit videos and film vlogs and, optimize for keywords and things like that. And and I was able to just continue. I actually found that I enjoyed it. And so I just continued building the channel. And so, I mean, now it's not a huge channel, but it's got 12,000 or so subscribers. And it's just been, aside from, yes, growing a channel, I've been able to understand how a creator thinks by, being a creator myself. I think that's just the best way to learn.
Is there any approach from all your experience that you've noticed is vital that works the most?
Works the most? I would say collaborations, whether you're a small channel just starting, collaborating and, doing interviews similar to this actually, using tools like this, and doing interviews, I think has been one of the ways that if I was to start over again, I would do it this way. I would interview people that were already well known, that already had audiences, not just to sort of piggyback their success or their audience, but also just to learn from them and treat it as a way for me to learn from the person I'm interviewing. Sort of like a free coaching call in a way. And then that becomes the best content, and asking questions that I really care about, not just, thinking about questions and, putting it on a list, but like really things that I want to learn from that person, because ultimately the people that are going to subscribe to you are probably similar to you as well in your stage, in your journey of your business or growth or life or whatever it is. And they're going to be curious about the same things as you are. And so you're almost just like a speaker for them on their behalf when you're interviewing other people. And so I think that's the best way to grow if I was to do it again. And even if you have larger channels, if you notice some of the biggest channels out there, Vitor, they're doing collaborations as well, And so the beautiful thing that I have learned is that, especially if you're watching this, you have a smaller channel, or you feel like you're just starting out, or don't be afraid to, reach out to those bigger creators. Because I've found when I did it, those larger creators that I was like, oh man, who knows? Maybe they'll say yes. They tend to say yes. They tend to be very generous with their time to give back, and so it's been a pleasure to hear that.
It's been my experience lately, if I'm being honest.
Good.
And it
Yeah.
is so weird how people are willing in this industry to say yes. Because I was like, we're starting this new channel with 0 subs, and then I'm approaching people with over 1 million subs. Like, are they even gonna respond to my email? And surprisingly, they did. And I was talking to Daniel about this. And one thing that I noticed that is a mistake that a lot of people make is not crafting like a proper email message. So a lot of people, they just like skip your email and then don't even read it through because you just like copy it from ChatGPT. So do you have any like technique or approach for anyone who wants to start doing outreach so they can actually get more responses?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, everything that Daniel probably shared, he's great at it. What I would
Yeah.
probably suggest is if you have the ability to go beyond text messages, like if you can send a voice message, a voice note, you can do that on Instagram. And then even better is if you can even send a quick video. So if you're reaching out on Instagram, like use the video function, and just say, hey, like Vitor, love what you're doing. I respect everything you built. Would love to have you join me on my podcast, and kind of, basically say what you're going to write to them anyway. That will
Yeah.
go a long way, because, yeah, I mean, they might be getting a lot of messages and yours will stand out. And, if you're authentic and genuine about the way that you're asking, then, it's hard to say no. It's hard to say no
It
when you see
is.
somebody's face.
I mean, in my experience, if they say no, at least they're gonna give you advice. They're gonna talk to you. They're not
Yes.
really gonna ignore you. You just have to show that you're genuine. You're just not like an AI bot in any way,
Yeah,
shape.
exactly, exactly. And I mean, if they say no, that's fine. It's all good. You're not
Yeah,
going to get a yes every single time. So don't be afraid of the no.
yeah,
But at least now they know you, Vitor. A year from now, you could
that's
reach out again and say, "Hey, remember me? Look at our podcast now." And
yeah,
we've had Daniel and so and so and so and so and
yeah.
so and so. If you'd reconsider, we're booking for the next, quarter of interviews. So never hurts. Never hurts.
Yeah, I just recently I actually sent a message to one of the biggest creators I know. She has one of the biggest podcasts ever, and I messaged her on Instagram, and she didn't respond. But then after that, she started watching all my stories on Instagram, and I was like, "That's how you do it. That's how you put yourself on the radar, and that's how it
That's
works."
right.
From when you started in 2015. I'm assuming the industry was not as big as it is now. Like we didn't know where I remember that we didn't know where this was going. Did you have any idea how major this industry would become? Because in a way, I feel like social media now it's kind of mainstream. It's kind of mixed.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I think I heard back then it was like, Gary Vee or one of these guys that were really influential was like, social media is not going to be social media. It's just going to be the internet. That's just where we're
Yeah.
going to spend our time. Like, I mean, even now, I don't really spend that much time on Google or browsing. I tend to spend a lot of time on social, on LinkedIn
Yeah.
or Instagram or whatever it may be, or the different apps that I'm into. Yeah, but looking back in 2015, honestly, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't realize it was gonna be like this. Obviously everybody is on social, but now I mean, social media and creating content has become so easy thanks to even like services like you guys. You know, editing is like this thing that like is such a blocker for a lot of people. Like I remember people saying like I can't be a YouTuber. I don't know how to edit, or I don't have time to edit. And now it's so easy, you know, work with Vidpros, and that becomes like a non-issue, right? Now you can just create
Yeah.
content, send it to you guys take care of it, and then the creator will upload. Yeah, so and I feel like in some degree, like it's just kind of starting still, like it's still early. Like there's people out there that are just starting to create content today, and a year from now they'll be just fine. They'll do great. They'll have success, and so it's not even too late. So even now it's a little bit still early days. And also just thinking of the life cycle, Vitor, of a content creator. Content creators, they can't keep creating content forever. And so there's always going to be, yes, there's creators that are doing really well, but some of them will stop creating content. Because, not that they're leaving the business, but now they've sort of like matured, and, they're launching products. Their attention has shifted. They still use content
Yeah.
for their business, but they're not, in front of videos anymore. Maybe they have other team members making the videos and things like that. And so, yeah, I think it's just going to continue to evolve this way. The way that you look at consuming, like the consumer market, like the shelves on the stores, all of these products, they're all like, a lot of them are coming from creators, right? Like Mr. Beast and Prime and Feastables and all of these things. And not just like food and stuff like that, but like even like physical products and beauty products and household products, things like that. All of those things are like, creators are either taking a stake in those business, or they're launching their own physical products to sort of be a competitor for traditional products and brands. And so I think this just becomes more and more. And so the social media aspect of it becomes the best way to market and distribute your products. And so we're just going to see more of that, even like media, like people aren't watching as many movies at theaters because they're watching it on YouTube or Netflix, or, like even these creators are now, podcasts are on Netflix. And so it's just taking over everything, like
Which in a
content
way is
creators.
kind of like what you guys are doing at Uscreen, right? You're
Yeah.
actually jumping on that idea of streaming. Like, can you talk a little bit more about that and what you
Sure.
guys do?
Yeah, yeah. So what we do at Uscreen is essentially we build your own Netflix, right? Your own like subscription apps, your own membership apps on the web, on mobile apps, on TV apps, and allows the creator to build a recurring revenue, that they can just rely on, that they know is going to come in every single month. They don't have to rely on brand deals, and they can really focus on their community. Yeah, and so we are helping creators build apps. And so now they have, again, talking about store shelves, physical store shelves at stores, having more creator brands on the store shelves. Same thing now. Creators are now taking up space on your phone with their own apps, their own icon. And so that's really what we do. We help creators just have their own controlled, white labeled membership apps, so that they can just focus on the business that they're already growing, that they own. They have first party data. They can connect to their creators without having to rely on algorithms. Yeah, and so it's a beautiful business. We're not trying to replace YouTube or Instagram or any of those. Those are great platforms to be discovered and to, find people that are interested in your content. We're simply the monetization part of their business.
Did you always see creators as entrepreneurs when you first started, or did something shift now? Do you think now it's more relevant and more important for creators to start their own business?
Yeah, I think some entrepreneurs now are becoming creators. They're not, I think maybe in the early days, it was more of that creative, like more of a creative person that decides, I'm going to make videos.
Yeah.
And then, oh, my channel grows. Okay, I need to now run a business. I need to find a way to make money from creating content. Whereas now, I think it's more, there's still that, but I think now there's also a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs first, that have adopted becoming a creator. You know, if you look at LinkedIn, there's a lot of founders and CEOs that are not really creators at heart. You know, they didn't want to become people that when they grow up they're going to make videos, but they understand that people consume content this way, and this is how you build brand. You know, a personal brand. You don't want to be a company that is faceless. You know, it's just like, I don't know who works here. Like, you know, when somebody thinks of Vidpros, they think of Vitor. You know, I can put a face to the brand. And so I think that's what people are looking for. And so I think now, yes, there's still creators that maybe are not entrepreneurs. They don't have that skill, and not against them, but just like, that's just not how they're built. And so as they grow, they will either not do well on the business side, or because they're going to try and run it themselves, or they'll find a partner or a CEO to hire to take care of the business side. And then there's the CEOs or business-minded person that kind of wants to be a creator, and so they'll learn that trade and they'll learn those skills. So yeah, so I think it's great. There's both now.
What is a mistake that people do early on when they're starting their business in this industry? And also, how can you make it sustainable if you were to give an advice?
Yeah, yeah. So the mistake, I think a lot of people make the mistake of looking at other creators, and you know, sort of wanting to be exactly like them and do exactly what they do. It's really difficult. You know, like I want to make hey, Vitor's video did really well. I'm gonna do the exact video. You know, I'm gonna like make a similar video, or you know, and just like doing the thing. Oh, I heard Vitor started you know, selling merch. Okay, I'm gonna do that too. You know, and sort of just like copying and following the trend. I think that's a big mistake. It's really difficult to emulate somebody's exact blueprint. I think you take an inspiration from other people and then you apply it to your situation, your audience. Yeah, and so I think that's really important. Sorry, what was your second question, Vitor?
It was just, how can you actually make it sustainable in this industry? Because it's something that you talk a lot about, right? About creating a sustainable creator career.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, you have to build your own products. You have to control the products that you're selling, whether it's a service, whether it's, you know, something that's away from the algorithm. If you have a
Yes.
business that's built on algorithms only, in terms of, you know, getting views and, you know, like for example, if you just have a business as a creator where you are doing brand deals, it's going to be really difficult. You might wake up someday and the brand deals are not there, or the views are not, you know, the algorithms have changed their minds, and you're left with nothing. I mean, you're left with a really, really poor business, right?
Yeah. It's a
So I
limited
think the
view,
main
right?
thing, yeah, yeah, I think the main thing is like the fundamentals of a business is you want to own your audience and you want to own your products. You don't want to be selling somebody's products, right? I mean, always, you know. You know, you look at like Costco. Like Costco has its own products, but they also sell other companies' products as a reseller.
Yeah.
You want to have your own products, and you want to have an email list, right? These are things that are sustainable. That whatever you do, if you lose your YouTube channel, then you have an email list. You can start over again. You know, you have access to the people that are following you. And again, yeah, you have your own products. So whether that's digital products, physical products, service that you offer, like you want to make sure that you own those things. So, you know, as early as you can, start building an email list as a creator. Even if you're just starting today, you're creating an Instagram account or a YouTube channel, create something that people will want in exchange for giving you their email address. Whether it's free, doesn't matter. But you want to start building an email list so you can, you know, really build that first party data.
One thing that I see happening a lot is creators like burning out after a few years. So for you, what actually separates those creators from people that actually have long-term businesses? Like, what is the key to be successful
Yeah.
long term?
Yeah, I mean, take the time off. I think that's really important. Take the time off. Don't work every day of the week. Have a day off where you're resting. I mean, it's hard to tell an entrepreneur that's like really heads down and focused, but it's the best thing you can do for yourself. I mean, I've done that where like you're working 7 days a week and you're just in that season, and your body will tell you that it's like you can't go anymore any further, or you start like it just doesn't it will show up in your life in some way that's like negative. And so you have to take that day off at least once a day, once a week at least. Take that time off once a year to do something different and change your scenery. You don't have to go and have like this, luxurious vacation, but like you want to get away from like your everyday. It's also great to be inspired that way, to like see something from a different point of view, different angle. And then have some people around you that are your community. So not the community that you're serving, not your audience, but your peers. So other people that are maybe in the same season, same stage as you, building a business or building, a creator business, or just people that you can trust, that is not somebody that you're serving, but somebody that you're at least like at level stage with. That you can really share some of these things. Building a business is not easy. And there's going to be tough days, and you got to have somebody that you talk to, that you have an outlet about, whether that's your partner in life, or a really good friend, or a mentor, or somebody. But yeah, those are the things that will, I think, keep you at least like the basics, to make sure that you are operating, well for the long run.
Are there trends on how creators are monetizing their audiences that you see that is working really well right now? Like specific niches that are more profitable, for example?
Yeah, oh man, niches is hard. I see niches that are profitable in every niche. The ones that you expect, like fitness and e-learning and entertainment. And then you see the super niche ones, like, like crafts, horseback riding. I mean, there's so many jump ropes. I mean, there's so many different niches out there. So I think you can be successful in any niche, I think. Um, I've just seen them all. Like there's somebody successful in everything. And there's competition everywhere as well. So you can be successful in any niche, but also expect that there's always going to be competition. Unless you invent something that's super like original, there's already somebody that's either thought of it or has started it or in that space. And so, but the beautiful thing again is that it's a big world out there, and there's space for everyone somewhere, as long as you are like being real and authentic, and thinking about connecting with the people that you're serving. Like even, when I was at TubeBuddy, there was a lot of, we were partners with a lot of people that were YouTube strategists, and they're all friends, and we talked to Nick Nimmin and Roberto Blake and Daryl Eves and Vanessa Lau, and they're all friends. They're all, like, they just get along. They don't see each other as competition. They actually like do a lot of collaborations together. And so, yeah, I mean, I think there's, we work with a lot of people that are in fitness and Pilates, and they're all friends. They have a WhatsApp group together. Like they're all friends. They're not threatened
Yeah.
by somebody else, because they understand that there's lots of business to be had.
Nick has been on the show actually, and he is the
Oh,
nicest.
awesome!
Yeah, he's
He's the
such a
greatest
cool
guy.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And what do you think about subscription businesses? Because in my mind now it's the best option because it's in a way recurring revenue, right? So what's your take on this, and what should creators consider first if they're thinking about creating some sort of membership?
Yeah, that's good. That's a good question. I mean, I'm biased. I love subscription businesses. That's
Yeah.
what we do here at Uscreen. I mean, similar to you guys have a recurring business
Yeah.
model, right, at
Yeah.
Vidpros. I think regardless of what, subscription or not, I think a business that has recurring, predictable revenue, it can't be beat. There's no other model out there that can be, the only alternative is you're selling products one at a time, right? And um, those are okay to start, I think. You got to start somewhere. But the recurring model is just like unbeatable. Like, hey, as long as I serve my audience today, they will be here next month, like, and the month after that. And I can now, like, okay, so if I have revenue coming in and expected, I can make decisions for my business and invest in my business knowing that I can plan ahead. Like, okay, 6 months from now, we still have revenue, as long as, and we probably have more revenue because if I'm doing my job right, I'm marketing, then I will also not just have like the people that are my customers today, next month, but I'll also have new customers next month and the month after that. And so it just like becomes a snowball effect, right? It just keeps on growing. Two, if you are thinking as an entrepreneur, earlier, Vitor, you're saying thinking as an entrepreneur, then recurring revenue is really good for your valuation as a business. If you want to ever sell your business, somebody's going to invest in you. They'll say like, okay, well, what's your revenue? Well, my revenue is, $50,000 a month, as a creator. Okay, but how about next month? Oh, the same, maybe more, maybe 60,000 or 55 or 51,000.
Yes.
And so now like your valuation grows, right? Because you have recurring revenue. And then if it's a digital subscription, not like there's also physical subscription businesses, but if it's a digital subscription business, the margins just continue to grow because it's like your cost is kind of the same. If you have, other than bandwidth and, maybe fees to the platform, whatever it is, but your cost for like maintaining, let's say 100 members versus 1,000 members is usually very similar. Like you're not going to spend that much more, but you're going to make so much more money as you grow. Your margins to kind of stay the same. We have customers that have thousands, like tens and thousands of members, and they run it with 3 people, and it's a good business to have. So yeah, that's my thoughts. I think, yeah.
Do you think AI is helpful when it comes to
Sorry?
that? Do you think
Say it again?
AI is helpful when it comes to that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a whole nother topic for sure. But yeah, I think AI and agentic AI and, Claude and like all of these, I think it is super helpful to help automate a lot of the work.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some areas of memberships that is just hard to replicate or replace with AI right now because a lot of people are paying for memberships because of access to the thought leader. And so it's really hard to replicate that presence of showing up and that authenticity. But a lot of the supporting work and task around it for sure can be, AI is helpful for that, for sure.
There is this stigma that you need to have like X amount of subscribers to start making money on social media. Uh, do you think you can make money with, let's say, less than 5,000 subscribers? And from your experience, do you have clients that they don't have a lot of subscribers, but they were able to build like a massive business from it?
Yeah. We have a lot of customers that have smaller audiences compared, they don't have hundreds and thousands or millions for sure. But again, it's recurring revenue. And so they don't need, we have customers with like 200 or 300 paying subscribers, and each subscriber is paying, $25-$30 a month. And so you do the math, it's a pretty good business, right?
Yeah.
Times 12 months, a year that people are paying, it's a pretty good business. And so, we say that most of the creators that we work with, data shows that it's about 1 to 5% of their public subscribers, on YouTube or Instagram, tend to pay for the paid subscription. And so if you do the math, somebody has 5,000 or 10,000 subscribers, then they're able to get, 100 members, right? Whatever that may be, 20, 30, 50 members that are paying, $30, $40, $50 a month. We have some memberships that are $99 or more a month. And so once you start doing the math, it scales pretty quickly. Yeah.
Why do you think there are big creators that struggle monetizing and there are like smaller creators that actually make it work? Like what's
Yeah,
the
that's a good
difference
question.
there?
That's a good question. I think about that a lot. I think the smaller creators just have inherently they just have more time to spend with their audience, and so their attention, their the trust that they have, that connection they have with their audience is just stronger. And so if they say, hey, like invest in this, or hey, I'm starting this membership, or hey, I'm launching this course, or whatever it may be, there's a higher percentage that will tend to invest just in general, again, not across the board, but in general. As a creator gets bigger, they're sometimes a little bit maybe not as relatable, because they're doing these like they're very like grandiose things, they're traveling to like, far places to make these videos or whatever it may be. And now they're not as like relatable. It's a little further out. So, and they have such a wide audience. Maybe they're not interacting as closely with them anymore. They're not replying to the comments as much, things like that. So I think that's probably, there's, again, general, there's some creators out there that do a great job, and they're massive and millions of subs. And they do a great job of keeping that connection. But yeah.
I feel like community is way more important than content, right? So like for you, do you think creators should focus more on depth of relationship instead of
Yeah,
reaching
yeah, if
more
they can,
people?
yeah, if they have the bandwidth to. Community is really difficult to build, and so you really have to be intentional about it. Once you start a community, it's really hard to stop. That's the thing. It's an investment, and also like the truth is like community can be really messy. You're dealing with people, and people have emotions, and you know. And they have opinions and egos and things. So it's beautiful, but like you have to be really willing to invest in it, time and
Yeah.
energy and emotionally, and as soon as you can. Most likely, like I would suggest for most creators, because they have other things to do, like definitely be present in your community, but look to hire a community manager as soon as possible. So somebody that will take care of your community, right, and really own it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how important do you think storytelling content is when it comes to being more relatable and approaching your audience and making them trust your content? Do you
Yeah,
think that helps
storytelling.
personality building?
Yeah, storytelling is, if you can, great. It's a really hard skill. But yeah, if you can, sorry, my
No
AirPods
worries.
falling. Yeah, if you can incorporate storytelling, I think people love that. It's great for retention. It's great for connecting, trust building. But again, it's a really hard skill. It's something that you have to practice continually.
And what kind of partners usually approach channels that are growing consistently? Like right now, like when you're working at Uscreen, what kind of partnership comes the most?
What kind of partnerships? For us, the partners that we like to work with now are actually customers. So if we have a customer that's doing really well, again, we're not every company is the same. Other companies will probably work with a wider range of creators, but for us, we really tend to work with our customers now, and support them in growing their business. For us as a company, Uscreen, our North Star, our main metric that we track is active paid subscribers. So meaning our customers' subscribers. So we want our customers to have as many active subscribers as possible, paying them each month. And so, we try to find, again, when we talk, we look through that lens in everything we do, whether it's Facebook ads or our webinars or our training or how we look at our community or events. How can we do these things with the end goal to help our customers get more subscribers? So we'll partner with creators that are doing really well on our platform, and maybe host, have them join us, in our community to share their experience and their knowledge when we do events. Like, how can we bring them together so that they can learn from each other? So that's really how we look at partnerships nowadays.
And we all hear people talking about like editing, thumbnail, production, like all of these things that we all know and people talk about over and over again. But in your experience, what is actually moving the needle right now to be successful in 2026?
Yeah, I would say just like really showing up authentically. I mean, it's probably not a new thing that you'll hear, but with AI, the rise of AI and the rise of, just things being automated, I think people are really seeking that like human connection. So yeah, so creating ways for you to have like those just like genuine connections with people, that they're recognized. At the end of the day, Vitor, I think everybody wants to be seen and just be seen and heard and feel like they've been seen and heard. So, again, community is really a great way to do that. But in your content, like, just simply replying to comments when people do leave a comment and letting them know that, hey, I saw you, like, I hear you. So, I think anything that you can do to create that connection, because as things get more automated and AI, people aren't getting that as much. And so they're looking at creators, and just by them watching you, they feel connected. And so if you take that extra step to just recognize them and address them, that will go a long way. And don't do it because you want to grow a business and eventually sell them something, but just do it because it's the right thing to do. It's just the right thing to do as a content creator out there.
Do you think people usually like overcomplicate strategies?
They do, yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%. I mean, I'm kind of like, I've always had like we're not a startup anymore, right? But I've always had this like startup mentality of just do it, just do the thing. And like, yes, spend time to strategize and plan and think through like this could happen or this could happen. But at the end of the day, you have to do something. Like you can't just like sit on your plans. And so, yeah, I do think sometimes most people do over strategize and plan out too far ahead and like the specific things. And then the problem I think is that if one of those things don't work out the way that you had planned, then you're like, okay, this is a bad plan, and you start over again. Rather than just like, okay, we have a general plan, let's just go to market, let's see what the market says to us, and then we adjust, and so I think that's the way I hope so. I think that's just the way I approach it. So just like go out there and learn, see what the market wants to do, and then get feedback and then adjust.
I know we've been talking a lot about like these creators that are trying to build real companies, but if there's any creator out there who's like, I just want to stay solo and be a solo creator, do you
Yeah,
think that's sustainable? And what advice would you give to those people?
you can. Yeah, you can definitely stay a solo creator. My only advice is to have other creator or entrepreneur friends. Again, just earlier, you're not, we're just made to be around other people. We're made to be in part of communities. And so, yes, you can run a business by yourself, but don't be just by yourself. You know what I mean? Like you can the business operates on its own, but you don't want to be just like on an island. You know what I mean? So you want to make sure that you're connected with other people, because there's going to be days where you need to talk through some of these things with somebody, or else you're going to burn out, like you said earlier.
What role do you think team plays with like when you're actually working with a team? Like how helpful do you think it can be if you're a solo creator and you're thinking about getting your first team assembled?
Yeah, yeah. Do it slowly. Do it slowly. And just learn how to, when you have a team, just don't do it because you want to have people to boss around and like, hey, you do this, you do this. Like, just remember that like
Yeah.
the best leaders are servants as well. They have to come from like a servant mentality. How can I serve my team so they can do the best, and and it's not the other way around. Like, you're not going to hire somebody because you want them to serve you, then it's not going to work out really well. You might have a successful business, but it's gonna be really painful, and it's gonna be not the funnest way to build a business. And so yeah, if you're gonna hire a team, do it slowly. Learn how to serve that first team member, and then you can grow slowly. So yeah, and do the thing, like hire for people that are smarter than you, that can do the things that you don't do well better than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it.
If you're a content creator and editing is eating up your week, pay attention. Vidpros is a professional video editing service built specifically for creators, not random freelancers and not AI tools. You get a dedicated human editor who learns your style, pacing, and brand from day one. You film your content and upload the raw footage. Your editor handles everything: cuts, captions, color grading, sound design, and short form clips. We deliver everything through Google Drive and Frame.io so you can leave timestamped feedback and requests and limited revisions. We start with a $100 trial week that includes 10 hours of editing. Go to vidpros.com and start your $100 trial today. Stop editing and start growing. At what point do you feel like small creators should start outsourcing like editing, production, and all of that? Is there like a point?
Yeah, as soon as you can afford it. As soon as like, hey, like, and as soon as like, yes, you can afford it. And also like as soon as you're doing too much of it, that you're not able to do the things that you should be doing just based on your skill set. Like I was talking to like another partner of ours earlier today, and he was still doing the editing. But really what he should be really spending the majority of his time on strategy for his clients, but he's still doing the editing. He's filming them and editing. And so it's like, hey, let's have a hard conversation. You should probably outsource the editing as soon as possible, because other people can do the editing, but only you can do the strategy. So you should do the strategy.
Yeah, because actually creating content takes so much time. You have to research about it. It's not like, of course, AI is helpful to structure things, but you can't just like write things down and just read whatever GPT gives you. That's gonna be really bad. So you have to think things through. You have to, in a way, experience life before you actually create content. If you spend too much time doing your editing, how are you gonna find time creating the content, which is the most important part of your content, of what you do actually?
Yeah.
So I do think I completely agree with you. Like as soon as possible, people should start outsourcing whatever they're doing and spending more time actually thinking about content and strategy instead of just being in front of a computer on Premiere Pro all day long, because it takes such a long time. How
Exactly.
yeah, how do you think the role of how can I actually put this question again? Because in my mind it's a bit confusing. But no, actually, where do you think the creator economy and all these businesses like editing agencies and what you guys do at Uscreen, where do you think this is going? Like, let's say in 5 years from now.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. Great question, Vitor. Yeah. It's, I think there's going to be more creators. I think not everybody's going to want to edit.
Yeah.
I also think there are like tools and software and technology out there that's trying to automate editing, which I think is good, but it can't do the work of a human, So what you guys do is always going to be vitally important. And so I think there's just going to be more creators means there's more videos to edit. I think we'll also get to a place where people will kind of like retract to smaller communities rather than like being in bigger groups. And again, this is, I think also, there's lots of factors to it, but I think because of there's so much AI and disconnect, and so people want to connect with people that really understand and see them and like, speak their language, not like actual language, but like speak,
Yeah.
like they see the world in a similar way. And so they're going to come to, smaller communities and like retract to those. And so there will be opportunities for people to lead those spaces and create those spaces for all sorts of different groups of people. And more content will just be consumed through our phone, more videos. I mean, also TV, I guess, like I can't just say phone, because I think a lot of people are gravitating back to TVs, and even a lot of these creators are like building their own TV apps. Like we're doing a lot of that for a lot of creators. And so again, they're taking over what traditional was, like store shelves used to be legacy brands. Now there's creator brands, Feastables and so on. And then when you look at like TVs, traditional, like even news, a lot of people like don't consume news through like news channels, they consume them through social media creators. They're catching news on Instagram and TikTok. And so yeah, there's just more of that happening. So it's moving fast, Vitor. It's crazy out there.
Do you think platforms like YouTube will remain like the center of the ecosystem? Do you think there's gonna be like a new TikTok coming in the next 5 years? What do you think is gonna happen?
I think there's always gonna be new. I don't know what that will be. I think there's always something new. I mean, when I was a lot younger, Facebook was the thing, and then now, then there was Instagram, and now there's TikTok, and I think Snapchat is still popular amongst younger people. You know what I mean? Like, I think
Yeah.
YouTube has stood the test of time the longest, in my opinion. They're kind of like, they are social media, but they're like on their own. And then there's like Facebook and Meta and Instagram and TikTok. So yeah, I mean, of course, I think there's always going to be something new. I think as a creator, it's, I wouldn't tie myself to one platform, because you got to expect that there's going to be a new platform 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And so I wouldn't just be like, I'm a TikToker, that's all I do. I just do TikTok. You got to like try to be in like multiple platforms, at least two or three, so that if one goes down, you have an audience somewhere else. And then while you're building these like social platforms, again, back to earlier, build your email list, right? Build something where you can like, if any of these platforms go away, you get blacklisted, you lose your account, you still have your audience that you can reach out to and invite to your new platform, whatever that is. So yeah, there's always going to be a new platform, but don't tie yourself to one particular one. Be able to like move around.
Yeah, if you're a creator and you have a business, how much do you think you should actually rely on algorithm and social media and being present? Like, I know we use it as a foundation and you're actually trying to get leads from it, but how important is it to build an audience there that is massive, or is it important at all to think about the algorithm and all of that?
Yeah, think about the algorithm. I would say, yeah, think about the algorithm. Every year, I think about the algorithm being less and less important. I think the algorithm is just what it is. I think, at the end of the day, they want to connect you with people. I think maybe 5 years ago, algorithm was a bit more important. But now there's so many creators and there's so many algorithms. Like I spend a lot of time online just because of my work. And all the time people are like, hey, do you know this channel? They have like 20 million subscribers. I'm like, I've never seen that channel. I've never seen that channel. It's not in my algorithm, and there's so many creators out there. It's endless. So I think, don't worry so much about the algorithm, because that will always change and you're never going to beat the algorithm, So I would just focus on the things that you can control, which is your content and how you serve your community. And again, you don't need to go viral. You don't need to go. There's a lot of people that have gone viral that have like very bad businesses and they don't do really well in terms of their business. So focus on your audience and build products, and really think like an entrepreneur. Be a creator, but think like an entrepreneur, and make your decisions that way, and you'll be just fine.
When we go on social media now, like YouTube, we see so much content created with AI. So in a way, there's like this abundant amount of AI content. Do
Yeah.
you think
Yeah.
because we have AI content now, it's gonna be harder to stand out in the crowd as like a solo creator, just doing something a little bit more organic?
Uh, yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's just going to be noisier. I think it's just going to be noisier. It's going to be harder to tell what is AI and what's not AI. I think it's starting to get hard now. But again, like people still just want to connect with other people. And so there's things that like AI just can't replace. So this conversation can be replaced by AI. I can't just talk to, I mean, I probably could, maybe Vitor bot someday. But no, for now, I think this showing up authentically is like really difficult to replace with AI, and people want to see that still. They seek that connection. And so, yeah, I think the community aspect of it and having conversations and again, connecting with your audience is going to be important. Don't shy away from AI. It's not going to, it's here. So use it to your advantage for the things that, that you can take off your desk and off your plate. But the connection part, it's going to be difficult to replace with AI.
And if people want to start doing what you're doing today, or if they want to be a client of yours someday, what should they focus on first?
Yeah, again, I can only share what I did. So start creating content if you want to kind of get into this space. Understand the creators that you're going to work with or serve or partner with and start creating content. I think everybody should create content regardless, for their personal brand. It's like your resume now. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's like your resume now. Like, hey, what did
We
you
all
do? Oh,
do.
yeah.
Yeah. We all do that, right? I always say that we're all content creators, like just try to find a way to monetize it because we're all sharing everything on social media. So
Right,
you
right,
might as well
right.
make money from it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, so I would say, yeah, create content, understand creators and what they think and how they think, what they do, and then ultimately you'll understand their pain point, and then you'll be able to serve them, in that way. You can't solve somebody's problem if you don't know what their problems are. So I think that's the best way to do it. And then also just like connect with other people all the time. Like find ways to connect. I mean, LinkedIn is where I spend a lot of my time, and it's just a great place to be connecting with people that like not to like, hey, like, do you have a job? Or like, hey, do you want to work with me or buy my stuff? Like, just connect and learn. Like, hey, what are you seeing? Like these conversations, Vito, right? What are you seeing? From where you sit, like, how do you see creators, or what do you think this industry's going, or what do you think about AI? Like, have these conversations, and you never know what comes of it. But yeah, just connect with people in that way.
We're all on the same boat, right? We don't know
That's right.
where things are going. We're all just learning and integrating into this together.
That's
So
right.
why not just share information and just go with the flow?
That's right.
Honestly, Rob, thank you so much for doing this. It's so nice to have you here. If there's anything you'd like to promote, feel free and just have your moment right now.
Yeah, no, thank you, Vitor. Thank you so much. I love what you guys do. Send my love to Michael, and
Of
yeah, I think
course.
you guys are doing great. Yeah, I mean, for me, I mean, obviously, if you guys want to learn more about Uscreen, head over to uscreen.tv. You'll find all the information. You can start free trials and all of that. Happy to set up a call with our team if you want to learn more. And then on my stuff, like yeah, just connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram. Spend a lot of time there, so I'd love for you guys to hit me up there. And again, love to hear what you're working on and share notes. And yeah, just have a conversation.
Awesome. Thanks, Rob. If there's one takeaway from this episode, it's this. The creators who win long term are the ones who stop relying on platforms and start building businesses they actually own. Subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.